Welcome, Reds, to the 100% United podcast transfer special. I'm your host, TC, and here's my co-host, Scott. Hello, mate.
Hello, mate.
On today's show, we discuss the news that Marcus Rashford has signed a new contract to keep him at Manchester United until 2023. The lads are back at Carrington today. We've had loads of news and rumours since the last pod. We'll get stuck into them shortly, but first, great news, Scott. Marcus Rashford staying where he belongs.
Yeah, fantastic news, mate. Really, really happy with that. Let's hope he'll be the focal point of our attack for years to come.
Yes, absolutely. It looks like you've had the rumours from the papers saying he's on £300,000 a week. You know how the papers like to twist any good news for United and try and make it a bad story at the moment. But what I'm hearing, Simon Stone of the BBC has said it's £200,000 a week plus incentives. So that is a lot more reasonable. Don't believe what the papers are saying about the 300,000. He's here till 2023. Ole had some great things to say about him. He said obviously it's the future of the club, bags of pace, and it looks like Ole's backing Rashford to lead his line, really.
Yeah, it's amazing how different newspapers have different numbers on the contract. And to be honest with you, the most amazing thing is a few weeks ago he was nailed on to be joining Barcelona and everyone was going crazy saying, or at least the quote-unquote fans on Twitter, complaining that we were going to let him go, blah, blah, blah. And then the second he signs his contract, all of a sudden they're complaining that it's for too much.
It's a load of
rubbish,
you
just can't win.
You can't. And he had some nice words to say about the club. He said, "This club has shaped me both as a player and a person. It's such a privilege every time I get the opportunity to wear the shirt. Manchester United has been everything in my life since I arrived here at the age of 7. I'll be giving everything I have to help get this club back to where it belongs and deliver the success that our fans deserve." He says it basically hurts him every day, the predicament we're in. And he has some great words, mate. And let's not forget, he is a fan. I know some people have said, and I've noticed, he did appear a little bit more humble when he first came into the team. But, it's part of developing into a world-class player. You need to have that edge. And I'm hoping he'll find that balance between his humility and a bit of confidence too.
Yeah, for sure. It just seems that you can't please everybody, right? But I think some of that frustration is bred from the fact that he is a bit of a patchy. His form is a bit patchy on the field. He can go in and out of really good goal spurts. I think that when he's banging the goals in, no one complains about anything. It's just when he isn't, then people don't feel like he deserves the personality that he has.
Yeah. And what I would say is you're mentioning the output there in terms of goals. And I do think this is the time for Rashford to really take the ball by the horns. He's got a big contract now. We've basically said you're one of our best players. And so he needs to start performing consistently like he is one of our best players. And look, I've watched his progression. I love the guy. I love Rashford. But it is time to start posting numbers that are worthy of the Manchester United striker.
Yeah, but a few months ago when we were talking about what kind of manager do we want, and the number one thing we wanted was a manager who loved the club. And I think it's sort of the same with players as well, that we just need players who love the club as much as they're good on the field, and he definitely is one of those.
Yeah, I agree, mate. I agree. And look, we've got him here. It looks like he will be leading the line. And let's crack on from here, mate.
Absolutely.
Good stuff. And obviously the lads back in training today, back at Carrington. There was a few notable absences and a few people who were not so much expected to be there. Lukaku was at training today. HLN, the Dutch publication, have said there's no progress whatsoever on Lukaku leaving the club. It looks like Inter Milan are trying to lowball us by the looks of things.
Yeah, shocker, right?
Yeah, what a surprise.
Yeah, there hasn't been anything about a bid whatsoever. Actually, when I saw the pictures of him coming into training today, first thing I actually thought was, get him a good pre-season under his belt, get him nice and fit, and maybe he'll show the form that he did when he first came in the club and scored 28 goals in his first year.
Yeah, look, if people don't want to put up the cash for Lukaku or Pogba, then we keep them. If they're not going to pay premiums for a player they really want, then we'll keep the player. So we'll see with Lukaku. He's back at training anyway. Pogba wasn't there today. He's going to appear before the Australian tour. He's meant to appear before the Australian tour. And obviously we leave this Sunday. So this is a big week in the whole Pogba saga. You would have thought if he gets on the plane to Australia, that would shift the feeling towards he maybe will stay. Obviously, if he didn't board the plane, then we'd all know exactly what's going on.
TC, what do you make of the fact that he didn't show up today? Obviously, it was pre-planned, but
yes.
What do you think?
So, from what I've heard is that the people who have played internationals have been given a little bit more off. I don't know whether that includes Pogba or not. I know, obviously, Aaron Wan-Bissaka wasn't there today. He was in the under-21s. David De Gea wasn't there.
Yeah, but he played a whole tournament.
Yes, he did. So, Aaron Wan-Bissaka, I understand. David De Gea didn't turn up either. So, I think it's, the players who've had internationals have just been given an extra week. That's what I'm led to believe, anyway.
But what about Jesse? Jesse played it. Oh, no, Jesse didn't play, did he?
No.
A few of those players didn't play. You're right.
I think we'd hang fire on it, mate. Give Ollie a week to settle back in.
Okay.
I don't...
No, I wasn't slagging him off. I wasn't criticising him or anything. I'm pretty sure you, like me, watched the dozens of training videos he posted. Looks very good, to be completely fair.
Of course he does. But I'd look good against those two dudes as well.
I'm not sure if he would be posting those if he wasn't trying to show everyone that he was at the tip of his fitness, you know?
I know. Really, mate, I think we should leave a few days with Pogba. Look, we've gone through everything.
Mm-hmm.
And this week, crunch week, we will know in a few days which way this is going, I think. So, yeah, boys are back in training. Great to see Axel Tuanzebe there as well today.
Yeah, it looks like he hasn't been out at the gym this summer. Bloody hell.
Dear me.
Yeah.
Another nice bit of news today. Daniel James handed his squad number 21. Bit of a cult hero number, that, actually. When you look through the years, obviously, Ander Herrera has just worn it. Before him, we had Rafael da Silva, another cult hero.
Yeah.
Before him, we had Diego Forlan. Massive cult hero as well at the time.
Mm-hmm.
And it was short-lived, but he's got some very important goals. That one against Chelsea from that outrageous Juan Sebastian Veron pass at the Stretford end. I'll never forget that one. Fired us towards the title. And before that, Henning Berg.
Yeah.
Obviously won the treble in 21. So sort of naughty little number that's got quite a few heroes in there.
Yeah. Henning Berg's a great... he's always the answer of a pub quiz question when they ask... What was a player who won the league with two different teams?
Yes, Blackburn and United, right?
Correct.
There you go.
Also, another new number, if any eagle-eyed fans like me saw it, was Angel Gomez getting number 28 for number 47.
Indeed, yes, absolutely. So another good sign that Ollie's pushing the youngsters through.
Yeah,
you would have thought.
Absolutely.
And high hopes for Angel Gomez as well. He seems like he has the right kind of attitude to thrive at the club too.
Yeah, he does. And ever since he uploaded that photo when he was like 14 years old, when he did the around the world to finish, I think it was like a five-a-side or something like that. Remember, I sent it to you and you went bananas as well.
I did, yeah.
And funnily enough, we have another young player in our youth setup called Arnau Puigmal.
Yeah.
And he was given Angel's old 47, so he's moving up in the ranks too.
Yes, and he's a tidy little player too.
He is. He really is.
Really nice. So look, boys are back in town. It's nice to be chatting about our squad for a little bit instead of the transfers. Look, you know, we love the transfers too. But it's nice to have the boys back in training. It's nice to know that we're off on tour on Sunday. We can see them back in action. We'll obviously get to see Aaron Wan-Bissaka there, Daniel James too, and hopefully some more. The Bruno Fernandes situation gets even more bizarre by the day. So what I understand is he's actually got a release clause of 35 million euros in his contract. Now, it's a bit of a weird release clause because if you trigger that release clause, they can reject the offer, but they have to pay Bruno Fernandes 5 million euros. Now, what I'm hearing is that we have triggered that release clause, so Bruno's going to get 5 million. Whether that's to curry favour with Bruno, or whether that's the first step in terms of, look, he's got a release clause, let's trigger it and move on, and then obviously push our price up as it goes. But I'm hearing that we have triggered that, and that is a positive sign that we are doing something with Bruno Fernandes.
It's crazy that, right?
Yeah.
Really crazy. Yeah. I've never heard such a crazy clause in a contract. And it must have been something that had been activated now as July 1st.
Yep.
It just makes you wonder, what if we just bid 36 tomorrow, 37 the next day? They've got to accept it sooner or later, right?
No, it's a one-off. So a one-off offer, he has to get 5 million. And then after that, no, he can't do it every day. Otherwise, he'd be blooming laughing, wouldn't he? We can just do it every day and get him for free.
That's what I thought. And then I realised he gets away with murder with some of these contracts.
Yeah. But the record up in Scotland are saying we're accelerating the move. A number of other publications are also saying we're accelerating the move. His agent, Pino, did meet with Spurs in the last few days, which obviously is not the news we want, but we've already met with him from what I've heard. It still seems a goer. What do you think, buddy? Do you think we would potentially sign Fernandes even if we kept Pogba?
Yeah,
or do you still think maybe you do? You think we could have that both in the team?
I do. Yeah,
that'd be amazing, wouldn't it?
It would. I think that Ollie likes this 4-1-3-2 instead of the 4-2-3-1, and would definitely have space for both of them in the team.
Yeah, that would be some ammo for providing those forwards.
Yeah, but it's the kind of thing we need to be able to create all these chances. We were really low in the on the totem pole of created chances last season, and you can't score goals if you don't create chances.
Yeah, and looking at, we discussed Rashford and Lukaku earlier, if they're receiving better service, then of course their goal put out will go up, and Lukaku bangs them in for Belgium, doesn't he?
Yeah, and that's what I saw this morning. I just thought to myself, why can't we get that Lukaku back?
Yeah, and maybe we will. We never know. Like we say on the podcast, look, if a player can change direction and change his mind and put in the performances, We'd rather be wrong and United do well. It's just we have to say what we see, don't we?
Absolutely. But, he's never come out and said that he wants to leave or that he wants a new challenge, anything like that. It might just all be complete nonsense. The same sort of nonsense that...
What, Lukaku?
Yeah.
We did say Conte was the best manager in the world.
Yeah, he did say that.
That for me is... Yeah, that's not on, personally. Because he goes back and now he looks Ole Gunnar Solskjaer in the eye, and what does he say to him?
Wow, you're the second best.
Not good enough. Another midfielder we've been linked with, buddy, is John McGinn of Villa. 24-year-old, just like Bruno Fernandes. 7 goals, 10 assists in 40 games in the Championship. Look, it's another. He's a Scotsman. It's another player who would be going for that young British youth direction. Do you think there's any sense in that? They're talking 50 million for him.
It's crazy, isn't it? Just when we were saying 50 million here, 50 million there, here's a player you'd never even heard of, and he's 50 million quid.
Yeah.
I'm not sure. Is this? I hope not, because that's 50 million quid and a player that we've never heard of.
It's too much, isn't it? It is too much.
It is.
Lo Celso in the Copa America at the moment, playing quite well. Betis apparently are holding out for 70 to 75 million euros for him. I don't think. I think that's just rumours. I don't think we're in for him. Mark are also saying Christian Eriksen's agent is due to meet Real Madrid this week. That's interesting, not only because we've got our eye on Eriksen, also because they've got their eye on Pogba.
Yeah.
And Eriksen is a backup to Pogba. So if they're going through with meeting Eriksen, it means they're not sure of Pogba.
Yeah. And it's the same sort of thing with Rabiot going to Juventus today.
Is he signed, right?
And they already got Aaron Ramsey as well.
Yeah.
How many midfielders can they fit in their team?
Yes. I think the Juventus to Pogba rumour is a lazy rumour. It's not going to happen, buddy. They don't have the money to spend. I don't think that's going to happen.
All right, good.
Antoine Griezmann, his release clause came into effect midnight this morning. We've obviously heard no news, no concrete news. So that means that Barcelona did not have an agreement in place, because we would have heard today that that's been triggered. What I suspect is Barcelona don't want to pay 107 mil up front. They would rather pay in instalments. With a release clause, you can't do that. In Spain, with a release clause, you have to go to La Liga and pay La Liga the full release clause, and the club's got no say in it. La Liga basically takes ownership of the player, takes the money and gives it to the club. So I think the hold-up may be that Barca are looking at Neymar, and they also don't want to put down 107 million flat to Atletico. So I don't know whether that's going to let us in the back door or whether it's just going to take longer for Barca to sign him. But no news today is good news as far as we're concerned.
For sure. I read somewhere that we were trying to contact his agent to say that, look, he's going to be second fiddle to Neymar anyway, so why wouldn't you want to come somewhere that you're going to be first choice?
Yeah. And the paper's reporting that Griezmann is happy to have a year out of the Champions League. It's something he's willing to do.
Let's get it done, pal.
I don't know how they know that, but that's what they're saying. Another guy from Spain, Ben Yedder, obviously familiar to United fans. They say we've agreed a fee with him for £40 million. He's obviously quite a more mobile player than Lukaku, if he was going to replace Lukaku. What do you think of that, mate? Do you think that's... that would be pointing to what we discussed a few weeks ago in saying that we're looking for a £30-40 million striker and we're going to give Rashford the full run at the main starting berth at United up front.
Yeah, that's for sure what I understand from these rumours. And good to see you actually talking some sense a few weeks ago.
Thank you very much, mate. But yeah, we'll see with that. What do you think of Ben Yedder? Do you like him as a player?
He's pretty good, isn't he? He's got a great touch, good finishing, and he's got a bit of that nous that we need.
He does, and he is obviously a lot more mobile than Lukaku.
Mm-hmm.
You would have thought it's obviously Ben Yedder or Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang. Aubameyang's going to cost 30 million more, but Aubameyang is obviously Premiership proven, top scorer last year, and experienced. What do you think, mate? I presume it's one or the other. Do you think the Aubameyang one is still on?
I'm not sure. I actually read something today that they've slapped a £56 million price tag on him and trying to raise.
That's all right.
Yeah, which isn't bad, eh?
No, not at all.
Yeah,
not bad at all, because they're pushing through with the Wilfried Zaha deal by the looks of things, which we're rubbing our hands with glee with.
Yeah.
Let's hope Palace can play hardball like they did with us, push them up to 80 million, and we'll get 20 million more in the bank. It'd be lovely.
Yeah, I read somewhere that Crystal Palace put a £100 million price tag on Zaha.
Superb.
And Arsenal quickly responded by bidding 40 million. So, bit of part in the valuations.
Yeah, some habits never die, eh? Dear me. That club, unbelievable. But look, I would prefer Aubameyang, obviously. But, if Aubameyang came in, he could play on the right. Also, Rashford, you would think Aubameyang will challenge Rashford directly for that starting berth. Ben Yedder, you would have thought, would be more of a bit part player. But you never know as well. Maybe he would force his way into the team as well. But it does look like we're looking at Rashford and someone to back him up. That does look like the direction we're going in.
Yeah, and just as long as we get one of them and we can actually move forward with the players that we want and we're not just stuck with players that we don't necessarily want first choice, let's just hope that we can get everything over the line that we need to.
Yeah, and another thing that might be great for our attacking options is Anthony Martial coming back and finding some form as well, because realistically, we've been playing without Martial for quite a while, haven't we? It's been like we haven't had him.
Yeah.
And if he could hit some heights again, God, that'd transform our attack. Because let's not play games here. When Anthony Martial is on form, he's absolutely unbelievable.
Yeah, he is. He can really flick the switch and turn world class like that.
Yeah, he really can, mate. So let's hope, and there's a number of players in our squad who have got that potential to really blossom. And if that can happen alongside a few more signings, we might be looking into a lot better season than we thought we were.
Definitely. And we just need to hit the ground running, like we did a couple of seasons ago when we had a few 4-0 wins in the first few games and just kept getting more and more confidence week after week.
Yeah.
And before you know it, we were doing pretty well.
Yeah, we really were, mate. So another positive note, mate. We don't know if it directly affect our team, but Alexis Sanchez progressed through with Chile, scored a winning penalty. Seemed very calm coming up to take it, I must say. Look, if he stays, it's great news. He's coming into the season in good form. If he goes, it's good news too. It means people would be willing to pay more for his wages. And look, it puts him in the shop window, or it puts him in the window to force his way back into the side. Great news.
Yeah, it is. It is a win-win. Another one that I'm not going to draw the line under yet, because I think he's got something that can offer the club. And I think he just needs a bit of confidence in him, and he'll be able to shine.
Yeah, I mean, he was too good before to totally write him off. His performances for United they've been shocking, to be fair. And at times it really has looked like it's game over for Alexis. But he was so good before, and he does look. He's playing very well for Chile. You've got to say. Maybe you never know. United, we've seen so many stories, haven't we? People come back from the death and turn it around totally. So look, as we said before, I would love him to prove us wrong. But look, if he is going to go, it means we're not going to get absolutely torn to shreds over a fee and over his wages again, I think. So it's great news.
Absolutely. At least he's showing what you can do, right? Not just what you can do in a United shirt.
Yeah. Yep. Right, mate, onto the women's team. Their fixtures came out, and unbelievably, there will be the first ever Manchester derby. United will open the season against City. Abby McManus is signed for City this summer, so she'll play against her old club. Spicy little tie there for the women to kick off the season, pal.
Absolutely, can't wait.
And the Women's World Cup, mate. Let's wish some of our players good luck. We've got England are playing the States. We've got Alex Greenwood, Abby McManus, as I just mentioned, in the England squad, playing the good old US of A. I'm sure you know a bit about the US women's team, mate. The women's game over in the States is massive.
Yeah, they're going crazy over here.
You've got Alex Morgan, but she's got more followers than some of the biggest stars around the world. Amazing how popular it is. But a few more dirty tactics going on in the women's game, mate. We had the Cameroon debacle the other day, and then we've had Spygate now. We've had American officials in the England hotel. And they found a man in the bushes today spying as well.
Yeah, I couldn't believe it when I read it, yeah.
What's going on?
Unbelievable.
Yeah, it seems like these dirty tricks are going all over the place in this World Cup, mate.
Yeah, the English team have the Americans worried, that's for sure.
Yeah?
Yeah.
What's the feeling over in the States?
There's a lot of confidence behind that team. They haven't lost a game in 10 years or something like that. They haven't lost a game that they've been in, or they haven't been losing a game in the World Cup for 8 years or something like that. And there's a lot of confidence behind that team. But the last few days, there's been a lot of talk about how well England have been doing as well.
Yeah.
And how a shock might be on the cards. So
it may well be, mate.
Let's hope we got them rattled.
Yeah, let's hope so, mate. Let's hope so. And one more of our players, new signing, Jackie Groenen, played another 90 minutes for the Dutch. They also went through to the semis. So good luck to her as well, mate.
Yeah, absolutely. And big good luck to Phil Neville as well. Always had a real soft spot for Phil Neville.
Yeah, big time.
I was reading something that was funny. He was saying about Megan Rapinoe, who plays on the left for the Americans. And he said that last time that they played each other, the ball was coming out of play and he sort of bent down to pick it up. And she came in and put her studs straight through his Apple Watch.
You're having a laugh.
And he said, I didn't mind about it, but I thought the thing I liked most about it was the fact she didn't even say sorry.
But you like that?
Yeah, I don't believe that for an absolute second, The thing I liked most about it was she didn't say sorry.
Unbelievable.
Yeah.
Brilliant stuff, mate. Well, listen, let's end the show, unfortunately, on a bit of a sad note. We started off with talk of contract being renewed. We had some, I know, really sad news for you yesterday, mate. One of your all-time heroes, David Moyes, his contract at Manchester United finally came to a close yesterday. And today we've had no sign of him being offered a new one.
The saddest thing about it, right, is it's been a good joke for me for 5 odd years. If we weren't to have sacked him, he'd still be under contract. Where would we be right now if we still had the old man?
I know, mate.
Yeah, it's one of sport's real shames, right?
It is indeed. But listen, mate, maybe the curse of the Moisey is lifted, and maybe good times ahead. We've had 6 years of absolute blooming mayhem, and finally we've got him off the payroll.
I can't believe it's only been 6 years, mate. It feels like 16. It really has.
Indeed, mate. Remember to subscribe on iTunes, Spotify, or your favourite podcast app. Follow us at United100 Podcast on Instagram. We'll be back later in the week, hopefully after another signing or two. Thanks for joining me again, Scott.
Thank you, pal.
Cheerio, Reds.
Ta-ra.